All right, ladies and gentlemen, so Nvidia literally destroyed the GPU market right now. I mean, for the longest time, obviously, we knew that AMD is going to release some GPUs that'll compete with the 40 series, and a lot of people were hoping that the new Nvidia GPUs weren't really all that powerful so that AMD can catch up and maybe like change the pricing. Let me tell you something. Nvidia just announced the best budget GPU. Here, I got some screenshots to actually support this. So, according to Nvidia's pricing, a RTX 4090 costs $1,600. This is the world's fastest GPU, obviously before the CES 2025. Now, Nvidia's next-gen GPUs, the Blackwell generation GPUs, their 5070, according to Nvidia, performs the same as a 4090, and on top of that, it costs $549. Now, obviously, through, like the second-hand market and with certain stores and everything like that, there's going to be some added costs. Some companies and people are going to sell these at different prices. But if it's this low, there's not really much you can do. There's not really like, you can't really inflate the price to a level where, it would be a bad deal at this point. Because let's think about it, okay? This is nearly like 1/3 of the price. And let me tell you something, a lot of people, after watching CES, after hearing what Jensen said, they were saying that this is actually unreasonable. There's, not unreasonable. They were saying, according to, all the videos and everything that I saw, this might be a bit of a weird claim, considering that there's not really this much of a generational uplift, I think. But you got to think about this. Normally, with the way Nvidia and AMD and all of these tech companies, when they're announcing a next generation product, what they do is they start off pretty light. They introduce an architecture with new technologies and everything like that, and they create it at optimal values. From what I've heard, the new 5090 is actually, I think, around a 600 watt GPU, and these next generation GPUs are considered to be pretty efficient. Now, if you're claiming that these new GPUs are pretty efficient at what they're doing right now, and their top of the line GPU has 600 watts of estimated power usage, that probably means that these cards are overclocked out of the factory. And Nvidia probably was they're treating this card like the last release of the generation. So it's imagine this. Let's say that you're releasing a GPU line. Let's call this GPU 10 series, all right? You make basically new GPUs with the same technology, you just increase the wattage, so it performs better, but it's the same architecture and everything like that, right? You do for 10 series, you do for 20 and 30, and in the last gen, you basically boost the wattage to a point where if you do it again, it'll become a heating problem. So what you do is you do some architectural changes. I feel what's happening right now is instead of starting from the 10 point, Nvidia is going straight balls to the wall, going to 30. So instead of treating this like a 50 series, I think people should think about it like it's some sort of a 70 series GPU or something like that. A 5070, this is a 5070 that is maxed out. A 5070 Ti, same thing, 5080, 5090. So that's why I think all of these are possible. Usually these 90, the 5090s, the 4090s, these tiers of cards, the X Titan series cards, they have a huge capacity to reach their limit. So I can't even imagine how powerful these 50 series cards are. And considering from the trailer that we watched when they revealed the Witcher 4 at the Game Awards, they were probably using a 5090 in that trailer. And I'm not even kidding with you, I didn't see a dip in that trailer that they showed at the Game Awards. So I don't know, 5090 is probably a fucking crazy as GPU. 5070 is all, obviously it's amazing. I think if I'll ever get a 50 series GPU, I'm probably gonna wait for a 5060 because that'll probably be maybe actually, I don't even think I can get a 50 series cards, because when you think about it, their lowest tier, maybe I might get a 5050 if they do it. Because when you think about it, that's going to be the only GPU that I can get that won't bottleneck my system, because I have a 10700K and I don't plan on upgrading it. I have a 3060. If I upgrade to anything, it'll probably be the bottom tier 50 series cards, which I'm actually pretty happy. I like their pricing and everything like that. It's crazy to me that the card that they reveal, like their 70 series cards, is as powerful as their top of the line previous gen cards. Technically speaking though, 4090 wasn't their top of the line card. They were actually planning on releasing a 4090 Ti, and somebody actually found one, I think, in the trash. For some reason, they just didn't release it, maybe because of the power constraints and stuff. Because, you know, I think the 40 series cards was the generation where the power connectors and everything was melting. Also, speaking about that, since from what I've heard with the 5090, since it's gonna run on 600 watts of power, how the fuck, what kind of a connector are we gonna use? Because when you think about it, like I'm hopeful with the 5070. I feel like the 5070 is the type of card that, you know, wouldn't use a lot of power but still perform really good, right? I understand that, but I think Nvidia might either introduce a new generation of power connector, which they fucking should. I think what they should do is actually introduce like those power connectors that they did with the 40 series, which were supposed to, I think, work up to like 400 watts or something like that, but they made like a next gen version after some time. I think they should use 2 of those. So technically speaking, you know, those can work with like 800 watts of power. But I'm gonna be honest with you, even though I praised Nvidia for this generational uplift that we have with these new like Blackwell GPUs, I don't know. I don't think a GPU should work with 600 watts of power. Because when you think about it, sure, they're like releasing these cards like pretty overclocked, because no matter what the fuck you say about like efficiency and everything like that, 600 watts of power for a GPU is way too much. Like I feel like somewhere around like 300 watts should be like ideal. 300, 350, 600 is a crazy amount, man. And they're saying like 575 watts. Just call it 600. What the fuck? Yeah, it's just there's like computers that run with 600 like watts power supplies, man. Probably 650. I don't think they sell 600 watt power supplies. But for example, I don't even think in total like my whole system uses 600 watts. And you're saying that one GPU is gonna use all that power? It's just pretty unreasonable. But at least it performs good. That's the hope. Obviously, I'm gonna wait for like some of the people that I trust, their reviews. I'm gonna wait for Jay's 2 cents. I might watch Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed. It's another tech YouTuber that I watch, that I trust the reviews of. I would say MKBHD, but I don't trust MKBHD anymore. He just has become an Apple shill. Doesn't really care about, you know, actually being objective. He just wants to praise Apple for all the things that they're not. But yeah, that's like pretty much all that I can think of right now. Like I said, it's just the pricing is perfect. So, oh, I forgot to talk about this. So obviously, 4090 costed $1,600, right? Basically, the 5090 costs $2,000. I don't have a problem with this because when you think about it, how many tiers of cards do we have currently? We're gonna have more, obviously, in between of these. But right now, with the first reveals, we have 4 cards. We have the 5070 that performs as good as a 4090, according to Nvidia. You know, this might be false. We have 5070 Ti, we have 5080, and we have a 5090. Now, we have 4 tiers of cards, and every single tier is going to perform drastically different. So when you think about it, I don't think any other GPU manufacturer can rival with this. I don't think, no matter how hard they try, I don't see anything. I don't expect anything from Qualcomm. I don't expect anything from Intel, MediaTek, AMD. Fucking, there's nobody that can match 5090. I 100% know, because Nvidia is known for just like being stale for like a while and then introducing like a product, like a GPU that's so fucking balls to the wall that you're like, well, it's overpriced, but what is the alternative? And you know, normally for a while with the 30 and the 40 series cards, we were like, okay, AMD is kind of getting close. Maybe Nvidia introduces something a bit boring and then AMD can catch up, or Intel. But then Nvidia was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm going to introduce something that's going to go crazy. Hey, our 70 tier cards, it performs as good as a fucking 90 series last gen. What the fuck? Nvidia just fucking, they pulled out their cock and just shoved it down to fucking AMD and Intel's throats, man. This is just crazy. I haven't even checked the AMD, like their CES speech, but if it's something different, if they introduce something that can like even rival a 4090, I'll talk about it. If it can't, don't expect a video from me, because why the fuck would you? I mean, like, literally, 4090 is like the new 3060 at this point, with the way that Nvidia has fucking destroyed it with these GPUs. Anyways, wait, I gotta check something. All right, so I want to go to Tech Power Up, and I want to see how powerful is a 4090 compared to a 30 series card. So basically, 3090 was a bit weaker than a 4070 Ti. Oh, actually, hold on. What about 2080? So an Arc A750 performs as much as a 3060 12 gigabytes? What the fuck? Anyways, I don't know. I feel like right now I checked it and everything, but how can I say? At least with the pricing, they're making it logical. I remember, I think when Nvidia first released the 3060, they were claiming it performs as good as a 1080 or like a 1080 Ti. But with more data coming out and everything like that, they realized that it was kind of like around the it was, I think, a little bit slower than a 1080. Right? Okay, 1080. Where is the 3060? Oh wow, what the fuck? So a 3060 is more powerful than a 1080, but not more powerful than a 1080 Ti. Okay, yeah, this video is going on for a while. It's like 20 minutes at this point. I gotta do a lot of editing with this. I'm just really getting off track. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is we gotta wait for all, reviews from these big YouTubers, these trustable YouTubers, and other sources to actually see if Nvidia's claims are true. But judging from their past claims from the 30s and the 20 series releases and stuff, they're pretty actually close to what they claim usually. So when you think about it, it's a huge generational jump. And if it's around 200 watts of power, I might actually get a 5070. I don't even care if it bottlenecks my fucking CPU. It just, I gotta get that card. But yeah, I love Nvidia. I just love all the stuff that they're doing. With all the game developers being lazy as fuck and not optimizing their games and shit like that, they also introduce new technologies that will compress game textures and stuff like that, so your game doesn't use 16 gigabytes of VRAM with the lowest graphics possible. They're doing a lot for the industry because the industry is getting lazy, and Nvidia is you know what? We care about gamers. Fuck you guys, and we know our value. So either you pay or you go fuck yourself and buy AMD with their shitty ass fucking upscaling technology that is basically DLSS from Wish. Not Intel. I like Intel. Intel is better than AMD when it comes to GPUs. DLSS is the best upscaling technology in gaming. There's nothing that beats it right now. Lossless scaling is a bit close, but it's glitchy right now. But it goes DLSS, XeSS, lossless, what was it called? The lossless scaling is upscaling, and then FSR. And I don't even think there's anything else that is major. AMD is probably gonna go, oh yeah. We also introduced frame compression, so we compress. They're basically gonna do all the shit that Nvidia does, but very poorly. I fucking hate FSR and how bad it looks. It's just a pixelated fucking mess. That's not what I expect from an upscaling technology. I expect upscaling to look the same as the resolution that I was playing on, but perform better. Because that's what it is always advertised as, so it should perform in the way that it's advertised, or better. Better is better, but worse is bad. Yeah, thank y'all so much for watching this video. What do you think about the RTX 50 series launch? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not agree? If you don't agree, like this video. If you agree, like this video. Love y'all, take care, and I'll see you in the next content. Bye-bye.